Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. It's a runs galore for Pakistan. 142 runs. They defeated Afghanistan in this first one international at Hambantota in Sri Lanka. They're now 1-0 up in the three-match series. It was a clinical performance. If you talk about Afghanistan 59 all out, it was bizarre to see what was happening over there. But the fact is that, like I said before, and I stand corrected, that the wicket was very difficult to bat on. But that's not an excuse for some of the shot selection that we saw from our current Pakistani lot. And obviously, we're expecting things to improve technically because similar conditions could be witnessed as far as the Asia Cup is concerned or the World Cup. Although I think that the wickets would eventually get better. But how much better is the case? Because technically right now what we're struggling with is playing spin and swing at the same time. But our fast bowling right now, I think the stat that was shown yesterday in the match as well, after the 2019 Cricket World Cup, which was the ODI World Cup in England, up till now 2023, Pakistani bowlers have the best bowling average in the entire cricketing fraternity, in the entire world, which is a great stat. And you talk about this trio of Haris Rauf, Shaheen Shah Afridi and Naseem Shah. The pace average is 145 for Haris Rauf, 142 for Naseem Shah and 140 for Shaheen Shah Afridi. The way they're bowling and the captaincy yesterday was absolutely amazing. But the fact is that what Pakistan can do to improve is very important. Not every time you will get out on 201 and you'll have an opposition like Afghanistan who will get out on 59. Opposition will chase the target down. So you need to be more potent as far as your batting is concerned and make sure that you put runs on the board, because there was a clinical moment in the match when there were 10 overs remaining where Pakistan and Imamul Haq, especially if he would have batted through, Pakistan could have touched 250, but that didn't happen. So we'll talk about that in detail and what we can do to improve. And obviously there are chances of some changes in the second ODI that takes place tomorrow at the same venue, and the third one on the 26th, the teams will move on to Colombo. Now the Asia Cup is all set to begin from the 30th as well, and the Nepalese team have arrived in Pakistan. They were received by a warm welcome. And of course, it's going to be great to see Nepal in the Asia Cup for the very first time. They had a galore when it talked about the qualifiers, and they qualified for the Asia Cup for the very first time. They're playing Pakistan in the opener of the Asia Cup on the 30th at the Multan Cricket Stadium, and they're here before time, so they're going to get enough practice. So it'll be great to see this Nepal side that is being led by their skipper Padal, who was absolutely superb when it comes to the qualifiers himself on a personal performance. So we'll discuss that. After that, we move on to the IBSA World Blind Games, and where Pakistan was absolutely superb. Pakistan blind cricket team now beat Bangladesh. They had beaten India in another match, but now they beat Bangladesh as well. So that winning momentum for the Pakistan blind cricket team continues. So that's what we're discussing on the show. Time now to introduce the guest. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by cricket commentator, broadcaster, presenter, and our cricket expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm perfect. How about yourself?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you for joining us. We've also been joined by sports expert, regular feature on Sports Extra, Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm very well, Ahmed.
We've also been joined by sports expert Umar Khan. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Umar?
Walaikum salam. Thank you.
Great to have you as well, Umar. Now, before we continue, we've got this report, a wrap-up of the entire first one international by Palvasha. Let's take a look and then come back.
In the first one-day match, Pakistan defeated Afghanistan by 142 runs by showing devastating bowling. Haris Rauf was the man of the match on performance for his disastrous bowling. Afghanistan spinner did a good job in restricting Pakistan to 201 runs, but they struggled in their chase and were bowled out just for 59 runs. Pakistan fast bowlers led by Haris Rauf, Shaheen Shah Afridi and Naseem Shah put on an impressive display and dismissed Afghanistan for their second lowest ODI total. This resulted in a convincing 142 runs victory for Pakistan in the first ODI. Rauf had an outstanding performance, taking his best ODI figure of 5 wickets for 18 runs. Afridi and Naseem Shah also played a crucial role in Afghanistan downfall. Afghanistan dismissed Ibrahim Sidran with a well-executed bouncer and Rahmat Shah with a full toss. Naseem high pace and moment trouble Hashmatullah Shahidi, who fell to a bouncer. Pakistan started poorly, losing 2 wickets in just 2 overs. Fazl Haq Farooqi troubled Fakhr Zaman with a swing and got him caught at slip. Mujib, who opened the bowling, tapped Babar LBW with a full delivery. Mohammad Rizwan came in at number 4 and played positively, hitting Farooqi for 2 fours in the 5th over. Mujib struck again, trapping Rizwan LBW with a carom ball that clipped the bails. Agha Salman struggled against Rashid Googly, and Pakistan stumbles to 62 for 4s. Imamul Haq played steadily, punishing Farooqi's bad balls and handling the spinners well. Imam formed partnership with Iftikhar and Shadab. Iftikhar played spins well, but got caught at short mid-wicket. Shadab hit Rashid for a 6, but got run out by a direct hit from Mujib. Afghanistan bowled out Pakistan but could not secure their first ODI win against them.
Welcome back. Now we're going to be discussing things in detail, and as you witness in that detail package, the margin of victory is 142 runs, 59 all out. Afghanistan, which would be very, very disappointing on their end, considering that they had Pakistan cornered in every aspect when they were bowling, courtesy of some brilliant bowling by, first of all, Mujib, Rashid Khan, Mohammad Nabi, Fazl Faruqi, everybody in between was brilliant for Afghanistan. Umar Khan, first of all, what's your overall analysis of the game? We did think that 201 runs was probably 30-40 runs short, but then again, the wicket was playing very difficult and Afghanistan did lack experience as far as their batting was concerned.
By the time Pakistan crossed the 200 mark, I had some hope that this would be a good enough total because there's the psychological barrier of 200. Especially we've seen in Sri Lanka that things are difficult, and we saw that the ball was spinning a lot, but it was our fast bowlers that created and caused the damage, not the spinners. And something really exciting about the Pakistan team is you never know what they're up to. And when the first inning started, and when the first 10 overs, the game turned. So I was just jumping like a fanboy looking at how exciting these Pakistan team can be. But thing that should be noticed here is that the Pakistan team is a force now, not only with the batting, with the bowling, with the fielding. As a team, I don't remember Pakistan team so well gelled after the 90s. So I think Pakistan team is really up as a contender for the World Cup as well.
Well, definitely. We do see that it's a complete side now, but obviously there are tweaks that are needed in between, and we talk about being consistent with their performances. Asif, what is your overall analysis of the game? We discussed this as well in detail that, it needed to be a far better performance than what we saw from some of the batters, but then again, Afghanistan 59 all out was really disappointing.
Well, this is the second time that Pakistan got this kind of victory. We do remember that in 1986, we had done this before against New Zealand when they all out on 65. And now Afghanistan all out on 59 for 9 actually. Well done by fast bowlers, especially Haris Rauf rattled actually. That couple of his deliveries were unplayable. If I talk about especially Rashid Khan, Rashid Khan is a very good all-rounder. Before him, if you see the Rahmanullah Gurbaz, that was unplayable delivery actually. Rest, Shaheen Shah Afridi is very good with the new ball. We knew his abilities, capabilities, that his in-swinging deliveries always disturb batters. And you have seen that was almost a full toss delivery, in-swinging. Even then batter deceived and tried to play towards mid-wicket. There was a very good catch. Once again, Shadab was fantastic with the bat and his fielding. I always appreciate that he is the real best fielder in the Pakistan side nowadays. And Pakistani batters, once again, that the debate is that why Pakistani batters are not performing. You guys are talking about these kind of conditions. Rest of the cricket analysts and the commentators and the journalists, they're talking about that the pitch wasn't good for the batting. So dear, if the pitch is not good, just try to calm down and play on the merit. That's the simple formula. And why the batters, the rest of the batters, Salman Ali Agha talk about Iftikhar, talk about even Imamul Haq, after scoring 60. If you're throwing your wicket like this, then of course the lack of cricket knowledge, the awareness. Rest, I think that they started well with the ball. With the bat, I'm not happy.
Well, certainly there are things that need to be improved. And of course, Ali Mehdi, at this stage, at the same time, we will talk about things that need to be improved before the World Cup. It's a World Cup year. But also, the fact is that we need to appreciate better performances from some of our individuals at least.
Look, the factor, if you look at the game yesterday, I thought, when it comes to our batting, we made a lot of mistakes with the batting, and these were very challenging conditions with the bat too. But at the same time too, I thought some of the players like Imam, I thought he was very good yesterday. He played the ball on its merit too. Other than that, Iftikhar and Shadab, they showed the way, because had these three players not been the way, Pakistan would have struggled to even get about 130, 140. But look, these were very challenging conditions, but at the same time too, we shouldn't be too too critical about it, because I thought that some of the players, if the players didn't perform with the bat, they did with definitely with the ball too. I think there are some areas which really need to be worked on, especially when it comes to, you can talk about, Fakhar Zaman. Fakhar Zaman has this ability to either fire or completely completely go bust. It's just like he's the toss of a coin. Either he performs or he just gets out very, very quickly. So, there are some areas which need to be done. But overall, I think the team is very well gelled up. They bowled phenomenally well yesterday, but at the same time too, whilst our focus is completely on the bowling, which was incredible yesterday, it's our batting which really needs to be looked upon. If we want to perform well in the Asia Cup, win our third Asia Cup, which we haven't done since 2012, it's the batting which is needs to improve over there. Everybody really needs to work on their technique, or they needs to play spin very well, because when you are going to be playing in the Asia Cup on wickets, turning wickets like Palekele in Kandy, or at the RPS in Colombo, and obviously in some matches in Pakistan too, then it is the spin which is really going to come into favor. So we really need to work on our batting, especially that top order which all needs to fire, because when it comes to we can't keep on depending on our bowling, which is doing extremely well. It is our batting which needs to fire, and then accordingly our bowling will come to the party.
Yes, Asif, you'd like to say something in between.
Well, Ali Mehdi is saying that this is not the time to criticize on them. This criticism is for the betterment. Dear, if batters are performing like this, then why shouldn't we be asking this question, that why batters are not performing well? And because of Babar Azam and Rizwan,
no,
they didn't.
But I spoke about the batsmen too. I thought that I said very clearly that the batsmen actually really need to perform. They really need to. We can't keep on depending on our bowling too. Yes, it is an important series for us, Asif, because if our batsmen don't do well, if they are batsmen.
But I think out of all of this, one thing that we have probably underrated so much throughout the scenario, and I've said this, I think, majority of the times when we've used these media platforms, that Imamul Haq has been really underrated as a batter. The way he's improved, the way he's carried the weight on his shoulders. I understand there's so much dependency on Babar Azam, but if you remove Babar Azam from the equation, then the only batter you can put your faith on is Imamul Haq in certain conditions. But we will talk about that. But the fact is that Pakistan's bowling has been the talk of the town. Throughout the world, it has been appreciated, including some of the greats of the game. Ian Bishop also took to social media saying that this bowling lineup has got the ability to rattle anyone around the world, and this is certainly something to look out for. But leading that pace attack was Haris Rauf, picking up 5 wickets, getting his career best figures as well in one-day internationals, and for that effort he was the player of the match. Let's watch this report.
Haris Rauf's outstanding bowling performance helped Pakistan overcome Afghanistan by 142 runs in the opening match of 3 ODI series at Mahinda Rajapaksa International Cricket Stadium.
Chance, this should end it, and that is that. 5 the Asia Cup and then the World Cup. But tonight belongs to Haris Rauf.
Pakistan's captain Babar Azam claimed that Haris' spell changed the outcome of the match. In the power play, all we wanted to do was bowl as many dot balls as we could. Imam and Iftikhar helped us to the respectable total after we lost early wicket. Afghanistan was bowled out in 20 overs after Pakistan reached 201, thanks to Rauf's blistering 5/18, which reduced them to their second lowest ODI total of 59. Following the simultaneous dismissals of Ibrahim Zadran and Rahmat Shah for the 0 and the third over by fellow quick Shaheen Shah Afridi, Rauf continued the demolition act. By the time Naseem Shah removed Afghanistan's captain Hashmatullah Shahidi, who was also without a target, the score had fallen to 4/3. He then handed the ball to Rauf to finish the route. Rauf secured the dismissals of top scorer Rahmanullah Gurbaz, Ikram Ali Khail, Muhammad Nabi, Rashid Khan and Mujibur Rahman to complete the resounding victory.
This should end it, and that is that. 5 the Asia Cup and then the World Cup. But tonight belongs to Haris Rauf.
Well, there you have it, the magnificent Haris Rauf picking up his career best figures. And we were just during that report talking about the fact that it's been disciplined bowling from Haris Rauf. Umar Khan, it's great to see that with that sheer pace, now we're seeing some line length, some disciplined bowling, something we're not used to seeing from Haris Rauf at least.
Well, the biggest part and the biggest thing that I'm impressed about is that Haris is coming from England, and the conditions are completely opposite to what they are in Sri Lanka, and adjusting so fast from England to Sri Lanka and bowling like this, because these are conditions which really tests the fast bowlers because you get dehydrated a lot easily. The run up gets more energy on the legs of the fast bowlers, so you need more endurance. And with that, performing like this on the very first match, I think huge credit goes to Haris Rauf and even Shaheen Shah Afridi because they were playing for the same team, Welsh Fire. So I think heads up to the bowlers and especially Haris Rauf. And I would just like to add quickly to the batting thing my fellows were sharing here. I think it was the first match. Apart from Babar, not many players have been got some time on the wicket, and Babar just never got going. So you can't judge a batsman until he's crossed his score and have some time on the crease. So I think with time we will adjust, but stroke making is not the thing on this wicket. We only saw Rizwan got some boundaries. Otherwise, any batsman who tried to play aggressive got out. So the best thing is to spend time on the wicket, rotate the strike, get few singles, and then hope for the best. Because if you play attacking on these wickets, especially when the wicket is tacky, so you barely reach 200.
Well, no, that's rightly put out by Umar Khan, something that Asif was saying yesterday, that you need to be smart enough to understand that and as a modern day international cricketer, you need to have that ability to adjust to the conditions. If you're finding it hard to stroke the ball or play it on the up, then what you normally do is try to play as long as you can. In layman language, we say take the game as deep as you can. So that's what you try to do. So I think that strategy needs to be focused on, that there will be times. Actually, I think that because the evolution of cricket is so much that now the mindset from everybody is 300, 350 runs in one day cricket. But it's not going to happen majority of the times in conditions like these. So I think you've got to be smart as a cricketing side, as a batter especially, because there's only one ball difference between a batter getting out and scoring runs. So you need to be smart enough to understand, no, I'm not going to get 350 this time, so let me just pose a decent 250 and try to play as long as I can. Something that Imam did brilliantly, but he could have carried on for another 10 overs and would have given Pakistan 30-40 runs extra. But that is another case. Ali Mehdi, you'd like to add to magnificent Haris Rauf? The fact that he's come from England straight to Sri Lanka.
No, I actually wanted to point out, which Umar Khan was actually mentioning. He actually performed right now, was playing for Welsh Fire over there in the 100 tournament. And he outperformed Shaheen Shah Afridi significantly over there. He was their best bowler too. And he actually won them a couple of matches too. And the reason that is because he was hitting, he was actually hitting the right lengths over there. And he was bowling very disciplined. I was actually following them very closely. And I thought that there was a couple of matches where I was getting 3 or 4 wickets when, they were bowling their 20 ball spells too. So I thought he was phenomenal, and I knew that when he would be coming, this was a very, very good preparation and appetizer for him, because coming to these tacky conditions over there, it's exactly what he was doing over there. He's carried the same momentum coming to Sri Lanka too. And this is a different Haris Rauf we've seen, because like you just mentioned too, when was the last time we saw him disciplined? We've normally he's been mainly been about tearaway pace, sheer pace, but this time it's been different. He hasn't been spraying around the ball that much, and yesterday was a phenomenal performance. So this is a very good thing for Pakistan, that Haris Rauf is now finding form too. And if it's not this Shaheen or this Naseem, then it's Haris Rauf. And Haris Rauf going forward, he's getting cluster of wickets, which is extremely good going forward, considering that Pakistan
and
has to play
the fact, Ali Mehdi, we've always heard, and you've always made that argument, that fast bowlers need to hunt in pairs.
Yeah. The thing why we keep on saying that these three are the best fast bowling trio in the world. If one doesn't perform, the other one does. If Shaheen has an off day, Naseem will perform. We saw in the series against Sri Lanka too that if Shaheen was doing okay, Naseem actually stepped up, and he was phenomenal in that test series too. Like yesterday too, that when Shaheen wasn't performing, it was just Haris Rauf which just tore away that middle order. So this is a very good sign that we're not actually hunting in pairs, but these three bowlers, they're hunting in trios too. So this is a very good sign for Pakistan's pace battery going forward.
Absolutely. Asif, you've seen the evolution of these Pakistani fast bowlers, and we all remember the time when we were talking about the fact that they're very injury prone and sometimes indisciplined as far as bowling is concerned. And we've had this concern that can they be considered to bowl more than 4 overs, because we were too much of a T20 oriented side. How do you see this improvement now?
Well, really important, that, and this is the load management is all about. If you're bowling 4 overs, and now it's T20 ODI, and you will have to bowl 10 overs, and of course that these three fast bowlers are really, really important as in terms of their health, in terms of their fitness, and especially as you are saying that a Pakistani team, especially Haris Rauf, if he is trying to hit the hard area in early overs. That would be really, really good for Pakistan. And this is what Babar Azam said, that was our plan, and we have told to our fast bowlers, just try to hit in the line, and that is the good length area, hard area that the batters will definitely struggle against that line. So these three bowlers, if they're performing well, as Ali Mahdi was saying that if Naseem Shah is not performing, then Shaheen Shafridi is there. If Shaheen is not there, then Haris is there. And then we have a couple of spinners as well. The role of spinners in the Asia Cup, in the World Cup, would be really crucial. And we aren't sure either we're going with Nawaz or Osama Mir. And you know that the talk of the town or the hot potato is that the Haris Rauf got 5 wickets. For me, it's not. For me, why batters are not performing well, and the spinners' role, either it should be there or not. Because, you know, if you're just talking about these positivity, which Pakistan had done against a second-tier line like Afghanistan, and we got a victory. We didn't perform good with the bat, but we are fine with the ball. But still, the loop areas are there. And we guys are not discussing about those areas.
Well, I would like you to please continue, because I think we discussed this yesterday as well. And like I said in my introduction, Asif, that not every day the opposition will be Afghanistan that gets out on 59. If modern day sides get you out on less than 220, 30, they will cause you trouble. And remember, in the World Cup, you've got no room for error, because the concept or the format of the World Cup is you're playing every team. So you've got a minimum of 9 games. And run rate is going to be a crucial factor for qualification.
Yeah, and see, if you have watched the post-match talk of the Afghanistan's captain, he said that it was a chaseable target, and we didn't play well. The short selection was an issue, and the short selection was an issue with the Pakistani batters as well. And the opposition like Afghanistan, yes, you know that they're a young side, they're just learning, though they're a test-playing nation. But even then, their domestic structure still, you know, under observation. And I can't say that it's a big team. If you're playing like this against Afghanistan, then how could you play against England, the teams like Australia, India, and even New Zealand? So the real test would be in World Cup, not in Asia Cup.
Certainly. Umar, overall, if you see the evolution of the Pakistan team, one more thing that we saw yesterday was the fact that the captaincy for Babar Azam was spot on. He understood that they were going for wickets. He understood that they can't afford to defend a target throughout the overs, and that's why he was going for the kill as far as those field placements or bowling changes were concerned. So you've got to, you know, appreciate an evolved captain that Babar Azam is becoming with every passing day.
Indeed, with years, his performance is absolutely spot on, but he's got a lot of criticism in the media. But what I strongly believe, the point that you highlighted here, that he went for the kill, that is something rare, because we've seen Pakistan getting into top positions, let it be the final of the Asia Cup or even in the World Cup. We just missed the slight trick of going for the kill, and Babar yesterday took no chances and he went for the kill. One thing more that I'm really excited to see is the playing 11 of Pakistan yesterday. Though Osama Mir did not get much chance to bowl, but watching Shadab Khan and Osama Mir, 2 leg spinners playing in the same game, is something really exciting for me. And in the coming 2 matches, if they get the whole spell, this is something that we should keep an eye on, because in the World Cup, if this playing 11 reflects on the playing 11 of the World Cup, it would be really exciting to see 2 leg spinners, both of some different nature. One goes with variations and is a bit quick, that is Shadab, and Osama Mir, who loops the ball, gives a bit of flight. So I think that would be really exciting to see as well.
That, you know, we discussed this because the chances for the World Cup are great for Pakistan right now. They're being tipped as the favourites from many people and many cricket pundits around the world as well. Asif, a bit of talk about Afghanistan now. You've been recently involved with the T20 league in Afghanistan. You were able to cover and, you know, you got to know about the infrastructure over there. You talked about that there was a 4-day tournament that also started over there. They're a test playing nation now, one of the few nations in the world that have been given test status. And for any nation to improve, there are 2 things that are very important. One, their youth structure. Second, their domestic cricket, which is 4-day. And the third one becomes the gap between those both structures and international cricket. And I understand it might take some time for Afghanistan because of infrastructure development and whatever's been happening. But how would you overall rate this performance? Because after Asghar Afghan, I still fail to find a batter. I saw that ability in Rahmanullah Gurbaz, but somebody, who can just keep their nerves and bat through for Afghanistan.
Afghanistan is a top-notch side if we talk about T20, but this is ODI cricket. They are even a team like Pakistan is struggling in ODIs. We would talk about the Afghanistan side, which is really young side. Asghar Khan, you know that he was a passionate batter, very, very good batter in terms of his technique. And I have seen their domestic structure. Some of the players like Siddiq Atal and Umar Zai, another very good batter from the Afghanistan. I have watched him in T20 side. But see, this is ODI. ODI requires proper time. I was in another show today, I was talking about some brilliant players, and I always take their names like Michael Bevan. You know that the only thing that, Umar was talking about, just try to rotate the strike. It's all about 300 balls you'd have to play. And last night, Pakistan was not able to play even full of the 50 overs. What does it mean? That your batters are struggling, that the Afghan structure, still they require some time, but I'm quite sure that the way their youngsters are working hard, really nice, they will get better results in future.
Absolutely. Ali Mehdi, would you like to comment on this? Because particularly it's a quality side Afghanistan. But no matter how much strength you have in your bowling, if you don't have the ability to bat 50 overs, you're going to struggle in international cricket.
This is the problem we've seen with the Afghanistan batting for a while. The fact that they haven't been able to go, follow through. They haven't been able to perform very well in 50-over cricket and even Test cricket due to the limited number of Test matches they've played. Their batting has really let them down, and their batting is that they don't have technically sound and players who are actually mentally capable of standing in for the long run too. That is the reason for their downfall, and that is the reason they haven't really been able to take off. Because when you talk about their bowling, we can go on about their spin attack too, that they have probably the best spinning lineup in the world too, and they have so much depth over there, and fast bowling they tend to do well, but it's their batting which is really not delivering the goods. We saw yesterday that they couldn't really, when it comes not only against the Pakistani attack, against any other ordinary attack, they just haven't been able to get those big scores too. That is the reason why they haven't been able to take off. So they really need to work on their batting to technique wise too, and at the same time, if this conveyor belt of talent coming, really work on their batting too, because they've got all the foundation when it comes to the bowling, but it's their batting which is really letting them down. And with the Asia Cup and a World Cup on the horizon too, they really want to address that area which has clearly let them down.
Absolutely. I think that will be the case, but congratulations to Pakistan. Now the second one international will be played tomorrow at the same venue, the Rajapaksa Stadium in Hambantota, and then for the third one on the 26th, both teams move to Colombo. But the fact is, tomorrow we can expect some changes. Maybe there is a chance to make some tweaks if they're ready to do that, and obviously enjoy that bench strength, give some rest to certain players as well. It's a busy schedule, but only time will tell. We're hoping to take this series 3-0 and be the #1 ODI side in the world. Yeah. Now we move on to the Asia Cup, where it's fantastic news. We've got a report. Let's take a look and then we come back.
The Nepal cricket team has arrived in Karachi for the preparation of their appearance in the Asia Cup in 2023. On August 30 in Multan, they are due to play their inaugural game against Pakistan. The team will start practicing at the National Bank Stadium tomorrow. They will also play practice matches before leaving for Multan on August 27. Nepal is competing in its first Asia Cup this year. Along with India and Pakistan, they are in Group A. Their match against India is set for September 4 in Sri Lanka. For August 30 to September 17, the Asia Cup competition will be held in Pakistan and Sri Lanka. India declined to visit Pakistan due to some political reasons. The Pakistan Cricket Board consequently proposed a hybrid design. The Asia Cup, which is making a 5-year comeback to its original 50-over format, has a new schedule after the Asian Cricket Council finally approved the hybrid concept.
Well, there you have it. The Nepalese team has arrived, being led by their skipper Padal, who was absolutely brilliant in the qualifiers. Omar Khan, the Asia Cup is all set to begin from the 30th. Not much time for Pakistan. 26th they end the ODI series, and then they've got to travel in 3 days and make a camp and then participate in Multan. But how great is it to see a young Nepalese side for the very first time who were brilliant in the qualifiers as well?
Indeed, they were, and they're a very exciting team, and all these associate teams were really good in the qualifiers. We saw Zimbabwe and West Indies getting out from a position where we all were sure that they'll be qualifying. However, I'm one of those lucky people who will be in action in a practice match against the Nepalese team. They're playing at Karachi Gymkhana against my very own club on Saturday. So I'll be looking at these boys real up close, and I'll be having a chance to exchange few words and see how they are like. in reality.
Certainly. I think it's going to be very, very exciting. Asif is also another individual who, along with me, have really followed this Nepalese side. And we saw the crowd fervor outside the stadium in Nepal was so great to see that I really thought that they deserve a place in international cricket, Asif.
Yeah, they're also, loving nation. They're cricket-loving nation. And when we have watched, especially Emirates, Mount Everest Premier League, I'm quite sure that if you watched their crowd, that was, full of passion. And when they are just coming and just arriving here in Pakistan for the first time in the Asia Cup, that would be their debut, against Pakistan. And I'm quite sure that not only the Nepali people, but also the Pakistani people will definitely loving. Pakistan is always really, Pakistani nation is always really loving and welcoming nation. And the players like Asif Sheikh and their captain Rohit, you were talking about him. Rohit is a very good all-rounder. He's a very good with the bat. Just talk about that Asif Sheikh, he scored century as well in qualifier. What does it mean? That plenty of talent there, and they have an ability, as you were saying, that they could do something special, and especially against Pakistan.
Yes, that's the first match. I don't think we're up for any upsets this time. But Ali Mehdi, great to see. Obviously, when you talk about the concept of 50 over cricket, they're a fairly new side, but they've got all the ability. If you talk about associate sides that are building on cricket infrastructure, Nepal has got one of the best of them, including their women's cricket as well.
Look, the best thing about Nepal is they've been working for a time. They're very passionate about cricket too. And then associate side who've been doing very well. They've been on the periphery of international cricket for a long time too. And let's not forget that last year they also qualified for the Asia Cup too. So they've done extremely well. Their next goal is actually to qualify for the big ones, for the T20 World Cups, for the 50 over World Cups. But I think they still have a long way to go for that too. They're working on certain areas of the game, but the important thing is they have the infrastructure over there, they have talent coming through. It's just about delivering on the big stage too. The thing with the Nepal is that they're a very fun-loving country too. The players are also very talented too. We've seen some players who've actually emerged on the international stage too. But the thing over here is that they've come over here. They've come for a purpose too. Their manager themselves have said, we've actually come to play competitive cricket. We're going to give it our best in Group A against both Pakistan and heavyweights Pakistan and India too. I think it's going to be a fascinating the journey for Nepal, who are going to do their level best against the two big giants, Pakistan and India.
Oh, would you pick them to be better than Afghanistan in the Asia Cup?
That's a very good question, and I think it's too early to say anything. But looking at the Afghanistan's track record and looking at their bowl, if you look at both Afghanistan's bowling lineup and their spin, I think still Afghanistan has that edge. But look, Nepal are a mystery too. We haven't been seeing them too much on the international front since that Asia Cup last year too. But I still think Afghanistan will challenge in Group B, will challenge the likes of Bangladesh too and Sri Lanka too. But I still think it's early for them to be considered better than Afghanistan. But they're definitely going to be going forward in a couple of years' time. They're going to really challenge the big boys going forward.
Certainly. Ali Mehdi, thank you very much for joining us. K. Asif Ahmed, thank you very much to you as well. And Umar Khan, thank you very much for joining us. That wraps it up. This was the edition of Sports Extra. We brought you the latest from the world of cricket and sports particularly, but one thing is for sure, that it's an interesting amount of cricket that is coming in the next couple of months, so we're going to be excited and enjoying it at the same time. That wraps it up for me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.